Let me guess. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, and come home in the evening. Your paycheck comes in, and it goes out. And at the end of every month, the same question. Where did it go? We paid the bills, we paid the rent. We went to the grocery store. Maybe we bought a little something. And just like that, it's gone. And somewhere along the way, some very dark thoughts started creeping in. If I earned more, everything would be fine. Here's the truth you've never even heard of. You're in the wrong game. For years. You haven't even realized it. Machiavelli realized this centuries ago. People lose not because of a lack of opportunity, but because they misunderstand the rules of the game. And money works exactly the same way. Earning more won't save you. Understanding the rules of the game will. Today we'll discuss those rules. 10 truths. Things school deliberately didn't teach you. If you're not ready for this, you can close the door right now, because this video won't comfort you. It will unsettle you. And that unease is the beginning of change. School didn't raise you to think for yourself, but to obey. Remember the first day. Sit down. Listen. Memorize. Take a test. Get a grade. Move on to the next grade. And repeat. Did anyone ever ask, what do you think? No one ever asked, why do you follow these rules? Because questions are dangerous. Those who ask questions always challenge the system. Those who challenge the system can never be controlled. And the system doesn't like uncontrollable people. It completely excludes them. Machiavelli saw this very clearly. He observed the palaces of Florence. He studied the advisors around the princes, and he realized this. The advisors who stayed in the palace the longest weren't the smartest ones. They were the most obedient ones. You've been trained for years to be that advisor. Don't ask questions. Be part of the system. Receive your reward. But the reward was never freedom. It was the next paycheck. Stop right now. Think. How many years have you been doing what someone else tells you to do? How many years have you not been playing by your own rules? Say this to yourself in 1 or 2 words, because that awareness is the beginning of everything. Your diploma was given to you to ensure your obedience. What is a diploma really good for? This person did everything they were told to do for 4 years. They got up in the morning. They met deadlines. They never complained. It's not a certificate of ability. It's a certificate of compliance. Employers have always known this. You didn't. Think about this. Rockefeller was an accounting clerk without a diploma. Carnegie entered the steel industry with 0 education. Ford never graduated from college. These people built some of history's greatest fortunes without a diploma. Not by climbing the system's ladder, but by building their own structures outside the system. A diploma doesn't open a door for you. It locks you into a corridor. And do you know what's at the end of that corridor? Retirement, a little money, and the what-if question inside you. They told you to find a good job, not to build wealth. Imagine 2 people. They start working in the same city in the same year. The first one finds a good job. He gets a salary. It's steady every month. He saves a little. He feels secure. The second one is working too, but he's also learning something. They're experimenting with a small side income, maybe a digital product, maybe a small investment, maybe a simple skill that generates income. What happened 10 years later? The first one is exhausted. Their salary may have gone up, but inflation wiped out that increase. They still haven't managed to break out of that rut. The second one has a system. It's making money while they sleep. They have options. Same world, same opportunities, completely different outcomes. What's the difference? A job is trading your time for money. The moment you stop, the money stops. An asset is a system that works while you sleep. They trained you to be an employee because employees feed the system. Asset owners, however, are fed by the system. You've always had the right to choose between these 2 sides. They just showed you one side. Instead of explaining how money works, they told you to save. Put a little aside, they said, and you did, in a bank account, safe, untouched. But no one asked, why is that money just sitting there? Inflation quietly erodes that money every year. Bank interest can't keep up, so your savings are losing value every year, invisibly. If money sits idle, it disappears completely. The wealthy have known this from day one. Money works for them, not in a bank account, in assets, in stocks, in rent, in systems. They told you to save because savers feed the bank. Investors, however, eventually feed off the bank. You have to decide which side you want to be on. Do you think it's a coincidence that we weren't taught anything about taxes? Look at your paycheck. Where's the difference between gross and net? No one ever asked or explained this. Now think about this. How does an employee work? Taxes are deducted first. You get the rest. How does a business owner work? First, they deduct all their expenses. Then they pay their employees. They feed the system. Then they pay taxes with what's left. Same system. Two different rules. One for the employee, one for the asset owner. They didn't teach this in school. Why? Because someone who knows this would ask, why do I always pay taxes first? And that question would lead them down a different path. The system cannot tolerate that. They always said debt is bad, but that's not true. Don't borrow, they said. Loans are dangerous, they said. They might be partly right. Borrow for a phone, borrow for a vacation, borrow for a new car. That will drain you. That kind of debt is a trap and it's dangerous. But there's another kind of debt, the kind no one ever talks about in school. The wealthy buy assets with other people's money. They take out a bank loan to buy a building. The rent from that building pays off the loan. 10 years later, the building is theirs, the loan is paid off, and the property is entirely in their pocket. Zero capital up front. A large asset in the end. School taught you what debt is. It didn't teach you how to use it, because that knowledge frees you from dependency, and a person who isn't dependent is of no use to the system. Working hard will never make you rich. It just wears you out. Look around you. Who is the hardest working person you know? Are they the richest? Most likely not. A construction worker gets up at 6 in the morning. He works until evening. His body wears out. And yet he still struggles to make ends meet on his salary. A business owner sets up a system. The system works for him. Both are working. But one is selling his time. The other is running the system. This was one of Machiavelli's most powerful observations. He studied Florence's most powerful princes, and he realized this. The most powerful prince wasn't the one who fought the most. It was the one who placed others in the right positions and reaped the rewards himself. The advice to work hard makes you a good worker, not a rich one. The real question is, are you building a system or are you just running within it? Financial literacy was specifically removed from the curriculum. You learned trigonometry. You learned the history of the French Revolution. But no one ever taught you. What is compound interest and how does it work? What is a stock? How does inflation affect your money? How do you start a company? This isn't an oversight. It's a choice. Raising a financially literate generation would shake the system to its core. Because financially literate people don't take on debt. They create it. They don't pay interest. They collect it. They don't work. They make others work. The system cannot tolerate this. That's why that knowledge has been kept from you from the very beginning. And now you have to find it on your own, in your own time, through your own efforts. Realizing this is infuriating. But if that anger is directed in the right place, it becomes the most powerful fuel. Feeling safe is the biggest trap. Imagine a scenario. Someone has been working at the same company for 10 years. Their salary is steady. They have insurance. Everything seems stable. And deep down, there's always that feeling, I might be stuck, but I'm safe. Then one day, the company downsizes, layoffs begin, and that secure structure collapses overnight. 10 years, a steady income with no alternatives. Security is an illusion, and that illusion keeps you stagnant. True security comes from one thing: options, multiple sources of income, multiple skills, multiple assets. If one fails, the others hold up. Machiavelli once said, "A prince who relies on luck loses everything when luck changes." A prince who builds his structure, however, remains standing no matter the circumstances. Security isn't in a paycheck, it's in the structure you build. The system wasn't designed to make you rich, it was designed to make you work. That's the harshest reality. The school system, the tax system, the banking system, the culture of consumption, none of these were created in isolation. They all work together, and they all share a single common goal: to ensure you remain predictable, manageable, and dependent on the system. School prepares you to be a worker. The tax system takes its cut from the worker first. The banking system erodes your savings. Consumer culture takes what's left, and the cycle is complete. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a design. And those who see this design are quietly building their own structures, without making a fuss, without waiting for approval, without seeking applause. They appear to be within the system, but they are always outside of it, and they are building. Machiavelli calls this silent authority. Not authority that displays its power, but authority that accumulates it. Being invisible is not a weakness. It is the strongest strategy. Now stop. Think. Which of these 10 truly shook you the most? Which one made you say, "I felt this, but I'd never seen it so clearly"? Tell yourself this in 1 or 2 words, because that answer shows you where to begin. You watched this video all the way through. It might seem like a small thing, but it isn't. Because most people never ask these questions. They don't dare to ask. They stay where they're comfortable. You asked, and asking is the beginning of everything. Machiavelli wrote, "People mostly ignore danger when the environment seems comfortable, but danger doesn't forget them. The system is changing. Artificial intelligence is transforming jobs. Inflation is eating away at savings. The concept of a secure job is becoming more fragile with each passing year. Those who quietly build their own structure will be ready for this. Those waiting within the system, however, will one day realize that safe corridor doesn't exist. If this way of thinking resonates with you, if you want to learn how to build silent power, grow with an invisible strategy, and understand the system's rules to create your own game, subscribe. Every video here delves one layer deeper, quietly, unassuming, but sharp. Most people will watch this video and move on. A few will stay and change. You decide which one you are. Write this in the comments. I see the system. I'm building my own.